All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to CNCF 101 and welcome to KCD Washington, D.C. I'm Kristi Tan. I lead marketing and member programs here at CNCF, and I'd like to introduce you to Audra. Hey, Audra.
Hey, Kristi. Hi, folks. I'm Audra Montenegro, a KCD program manager at the CNCF.
Great. All right. Well, let's get started. So we are hashtag Team Cloud Native. Our community, Team Cloud Native, is a bit like boarding a ship to sail the expansive oceans. And because we are such huge musical fans, we're illustrating this idea using the Muppets. If you can remember from the movie, The Muppet Treasure Island, Jim, Rizzo, and Gonzo board the Hispaniola to boldly sail for buried treasure using an old map that a really shady old pirate gave them in a pub. Yeah, I know. It kind of sounds like how we all got involved in this community. And just like Treasure Island, this community is an adventure. We're here in this session to help equip you with a treasure map to Cloud Native to give you the best start possible as you navigate your journey. And just like a pirate ship, or any ship really, it takes a whole crew to actually sail. You've got the captain, of course, but you also have navigators, cooks, the folks who climb the rigging, etc. Team Cloud Native is just like a ship's crew. It takes everyone to sail us on this journey, no matter what your background is. You can be a principal engineer, you can be fresh out of college, or even self-taught, or you can be in a project management, marketing role. Everyone is welcome, and there is space for everyone to contribute. So let's talk about what is CNCF. The Cloud Native Computing Foundation, or CNCF, hosts critical components of the global technology infrastructure. Those critical components, of course, are the projects that you know and love, like Kubernetes, Envoy, Prometheus, and so many more, but also the working groups, board, committee, all who are steering us on this journey. And importantly, it's also the end users and vendors who are actively using, developing, and growing Cloud Native across the board. We are all united around one mission here, and that's to make Cloud Native ubiquitous. You already know Linux is in the kitchen, it's in modern fridges. That's where we want to go with Cloud Native. It's going to be everywhere. Here's a snapshot at our global and growing community. Since being founded in 2015, we have folks from literally every corner of the world in this wonderful community, including folks just like you. And what is the secret of our success? Well, it's not really a secret. We wouldn't be able to accomplish that, all that we are today, without people like you. You could say it's the worst kept secret ever. It's Team Cloud Native. It's the amazing community that sails this wonderful, wacky, and horizon-riding ship. And just to double click on some of our other projects here that you might recognize some of the logos, we've got our graduated projects, our incubating projects, and of course, our sandbox projects. And with that, I'll pass it over to Audra to talk about Cloud Native Essentials.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristi. All right. So now for some Cloud Native Essentials, starting with the glossary. So you saw how many projects there are, quite a lot, right? And now you might be thinking, where do I even start? Well, how about some definitions? We have an amazing initiative that can help you fully get to grips with all the acronyms in Cloud Native. And this glossary is available in multiple languages like Portuguese, Hindi, Korean, Italian, and others. So join the glossary localization channel on the CNCF Slack and say hi. And here's the map. Ta-da! You've probably seen memes about the Cloud Native landscape. It's huge. It honestly is the stuff of nightmares. But like Priyanka said in her keynote at KubeCon Europe, just sit and get comfortable with it. It will make sense once you spend a bit of time with it. The goal of the Cloud Native landscape, though, is to compile and organize all Cloud Native open source projects and proprietary products into categories, providing an overview of the current ecosystem. Organizations that have a Cloud Native project or product can submit a pull request to request it to be added to the landscape. So go to the guide at L as in landscape.cncf.io and check it out if you haven't already. This is fun. From a humble PHP app, Fippy has gone on to help thousands of folks take their first steps to understanding cloud native computing, from containerization to automation. Today, Fippy and Friends' mission is to demystify cloud native computing and explain complicated concepts in compelling, engaging, and easy to understand manner. It's not just for bedtime stories. I do admit I've read a couple of these to my son, but you can use the Fippy and Friends characters in your day-to-day work, especially when you've tasked or you are tasked with explaining your team's projects and products to folks who don't share the same technical background. All right, we are a foundation of doers and love to elevate people. Some ways to do that are through the mentorship and internship programs. The CNCF proudly supported over 100 individuals through various mentoring and internship opportunities in 2021 alone, including the LFX mentorship platform, Google Summer of Code, Google Summer of Docs program, and Outreachy. We take mentorship very seriously because folks who have participated in our mentorship programs have gone to do amazing things. These programs happen throughout the year, so there are loads of opportunity to get involved. Something new that's tied to mentorships is CNCF First. Now, this is a program that's in its very early stages. CNCF Ambassador Bart Farrell, who runs the Data on Kubernetes community, had an idea to bring forward unheard voices. For example, those who submit a talk to KubeCon and keep getting rejected, these people would then be mentored by ambassadors to submit better proposals and also be coached on presenting. And one of their first talks could be at a KCD like this one, or an ancillary event like an Ignite. Speaking of events, here are a few you've likely heard of, most certainly KCDs, since you're in one today, but KubeCon, our biggest events in North America and Europe, are a great way for open source communities to gather and network among the cloud native community groups, which are local meetups. And additionally, something really cool that is new, it's a new event series, it's called Kube Days, which are CNCF hosted one-day in-person events. So I'd like to dive in a little bit more around Kubernetes Days or Kubernetes Community Days. They are global community organized events. So different from Kube Days, the community puts these on, whereas the CNCF puts on Kube Days. And KCDs can either be virtual, hybrid, or in person. And virtual events, for the most part, are free. Otherwise, the in-person events tend to charge a nominal fee. And if you care to organize one, we require a minimum of 3 sponsors. So there's no out-of-pocket expenses for organizers, so you can at least break even. And if you're interested in taking part in helping with future KCD Washington, DC, for example, then I would suggest connecting with Matthew, Fahim, or Brandon during the show. Or if you happen to be from another region or know of somebody in another region who would like to host one, please reach out to kcd@cncf.io. We also have just recently started a monthly organizer working group, which is a great way to collaborate with other KCD organizers. And you'll notice on this slide some upcoming KCD events, as well as upcoming call for proposal deadlines. All right, so to help elevate yourself even more, you've probably heard about training, and I'm going to toot the CNCF horn here, but we've seriously got some good training. We actually have a dedicated team working at the Linux Foundation to ensure our certifications are the highest possible caliber. There are even free courses you can take, like Introduction to Kubernetes on EDX. And when you start to explore cncf.io, you will see an abundance of opportunities in addition to the ones that we mentioned today. Like the ship that we've been sailing on, there are many different roles in the cloud native in Cloud Native, and you don't have to be a coding whiz to get started. One of the best ways folks can start is by checking out the Cloud Native glossary we mentioned earlier, because we need more translations. Also, don't be shy. Just go sit in on a working group or a special interest group meeting. You will be welcomed with open arms. Technical advisory groups, or TAGs, are started by the Technical Oversight Committee, or TOC, and are staffed by experts in specialist areas like observability. And then there are also working groups that are more broad, covering topics including business values, and don't need to be kicked off by a technical oversight committee. So tons of ways to get involved in the community. But I'm going to hand it back over to Kristi for her closing thoughts. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Audra. That was great. So you've heard our pitch today about the CNCF. Hopefully we've enlightened you as far as all of the pieces that help us drive the ship of Team Cloud Native. And now we would love to invite you to contribute, whether you join a working group, whether you sit in on a marketing committee meeting. We'd love to have you contribute to this amazing community. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to spend the time with you, and have a great KCD. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, folks. Bye.